right, it's your man again. I am Double Joy. Today I'm just gonna do a walkthrough, kind of, through a typical day when it snows around the Washington D.C. area. It doesn't really snow that much around here, so but when it does, most of the time will be within this range when it's a little heavy, which is about 6 inches. Sometimes it might be low, sometimes it might be more, but typically this is what it's going to look like on a day that it snows. Yeah, I want to apologize a little bit for the quality of the video. It's not easy when you have to walk in the snow with your camera, and then you still have to maintain your stability. You want us to be very careful, no matter how very sturdy your shoes are. If you walk through the snow at this time when it's still fresh, there's this possibility of it being slippery. So sorry if you see the shaky video. It's because I was trying to maintain my stability while I was walking through the snow. Alright, so we'll get into it. I'll do it very quickly, so I'll leave you with a clip so at least you can see what it is like to experience snow on a typical snowing day around the Washington D.C. area. Alrighty, let's get into it. You see, I'm actually walking more like in the middle of the road now, and if you see the fact that some parts are looking cleared and some parts are looking snowy, it means people have walked on the road. What happens around here is if you leave the road like that without doing anything to it, it will be, you see snow also everywhere, and the more cars drive on them, it makes them slippery because you be like pressing the snow and then it becomes icy and it starts getting slippery. So all these parts you see that are cleared have been salted. We have these trucks that put salts around so that at least cars will be able to pass, will be able to drive through without any issues. So you see, I'll show you one too very soon. One particular house that's that person has put salt in that area of the house so that it won't be, even when it snows, the snow gets on it. Look at that place, it's been salted. They put salt there so that there won't be the snow will not be accumulating, so it will be melting. So apart from scraping the snow off the road like they've done already, they will also pour salt on those places so that as the snow is also dropping, getting down, it's melting. So basically that's what happens, and that's what you see on all the roads. If you leave the road, like I said, it will be icy and it will be slippery. So that's one thing that happens all the time. Even if you have snow still gathered everywhere around the houses, on the street, but on the main roads, on the roads, most of the time you find out that they've been scraped away, and then they put salt also there for people to be able to drive through. And you don't get to have, unless it's extremely heavy and then it keeps getting down and getting down, that's when you don't see those roads being cleared. So this area now, I'm actually walking towards a shopping mall. It is better to even walk right in the snow than trying to walk on some of these places that cars have already passed through. Those tire tracks, they will be slippery. And like how I was doing when I was doing the video, I was walking through through the snow itself. You have to want to put on a shoe that is not slippery. We have anti-slippery shoes, and I think for this period I was wearing a Crocs boot. So most of the time all these Crocs, they don't slip, so you can still wear them when it's snowy, and then you still have the confidence that at least you won't just slip like any other shoe would do. So that's what is happening. And then right there, when I see something also worthy of being discussed, I'll let you know. I will be right back with you. Already just very close to the mall now. So you see all these areas, you see the road is being, this is more like an alley, is a short road, shortcut like we used to call it, to this mall, this shopping mall. So the every facility, every community has the responsibility of taking care of their people. So this month also they try to ensure that at least they clear the motorable parts, those places that these people drive through to get to the mall, and to drive out of the mall. So even if it is just that area alone, they try as much as possible to clear the snow off that road, and also put salt, the sodium chloride, that dissolves the salt and then it makes it not to be slippery. Because even when you scrape the snow sometimes and you don't put salt on it, it's still, by the time people start to step on it, cars drive on it, it becomes slippery. So that's what happens. They put salt, and very soon I know I'm gonna see one of those trucks that scrape the floor and also apply salt to those places as we get there. So I'm just very close to the mall. I had to do it through. You see that vehicle, that's a typical truck that is walking, is scraping the snow. And if you see the back, I'll show you, I know you, that thing at the back, that red stuff is the one that's going to be spraying the salt on those places that the truck had already scraped the snows away from. So as it's scraping the snow in the front, is applying salt at the back, so at least to ensure that whatever is happening, anything that's is doing, the snow is not, the road is not slippery. And the thing is, if you leave your store, if you leave this complex like this, if the authority in charge of this complex decides not to do anything, how would people get to the stores to get what they need? You can't. And one thing very quickly, you see these things when you start to, if you go to a store on a typical day, and you see them displayed like this, you need to check your weather report. You need to check those apps for weather and see what's going on. And that's to tell you that it's gonna snow, because they don't just display them anytime. Of course, you won't see them during the summer. You only see them during this winter period, or probably sometimes during spring if it's gonna snow. So it tells you that at least you need to get one if you don't have, because you definitely would need them. So let's keep on going. You see, just like I said earlier, these people in charge of this building, or in charge of this facility, they know already that they have to ensure they maintain the road. They ensure that at least they clear snow off the road, off the parking lot, so that people can still have access to shopping. Because if they do not have access to coming to the shopping mall, how would those people selling things there sell? So what they do is they ensure that at least they are up and running, and apart from anticipating that it's going to snow, or applying salt earlier before it snows, when it snows again, you've got to have your trucks around to clear the major places, the roads leading in and out of the malls, and then the parking lot, so that when people come to the mall or to the shopping complex, they are able to park and still walk safely to wherever they want to shop, and still be able to go back home safely. So that's what happens. You see them. I'm just showing one part. I know there's another truck or two more at the other side also walking like this. Immediately as the snow is stopping, they start scraping those things and applying salt on those areas, that at least most important places that people would want to park their cars, drive through, walk through, so that there won't be any casualties. So that's one of the things you see. Maintenance is highly prioritized in this country. So you see the trucks are always around. And when you go out on a typical evening, or one or in the morning, or anytime, you just see these trucks going up and down the street, or you see them around. If you've not checked your weather report before that time, you will need to. So you'll be able to at least prepare yourself and ensure that at least you are prepared for what is coming, because you don't just see those trucks around too. When you see them around, it means there's this preparation for a snowy day, and they pack them at strategic places so that as soon as the snow is down, they start clearing and making things normal for people to walk through. And I can assure you that by the time you come here the next day, or maybe later in some few hours, all these parts would have been scraped off. You probably will be seeing snows on the grasses. Of course, who wants to go to the grass? Those ones will melt and dissolve by themselves most of the time. But for the major drive-through on the road, parking lots, you see those places, they start parking. Even if you live in your own house, you wouldn't want to leave snows everywhere around. You can still leave them on the grass like everybody would, but on the road, your drive-through, your parking space, the drive-through to your garage, you want to clear all those places and make at least everybody around you safe. So that's what exactly happens. And you see, everywhere is being scraped. It's just the snow just finished. Typically, I think it's about maybe not even up to 10 minutes ago, and you see people have started walking to ensure that at least they keep everyone safe. Their safety is actually the first thing, because whoever is going to the store, whoever is driving out, you want to ensure that that person is safe. It is not just for yourself. So every community does that. You see apartments, they do that. If you have your own house, you want to do that also. You see shopping malls everywhere, you see them packing and clearing those snows off the ground so that everybody that wants to go out to be safe. And normally when you go out on a day like this, it's always very dull. Most people are sitting back at home. Students would have been back from school, and a lot of people would have done their shopping days before, at least a day before that time, to ensure that there won't be any emergency need that will make you to want to go to the store to get anything. So most of the time, people that you see going out are probably people that their jobs will around them to come. Like those people in the store selling, they will still want to go to the store. Those working the frontliners will want to still work. Emergency workers will still want to be out there. Like these people also scraping the snows would also want to still be out there working. So, but ordinarily, if you really do not have anything to do, your work does not require you coming compulsorily out there, there's no point going out. You see people sitting back home, probably drinking coffee, watching TV, listening to the news, or just doing their thing. It's always very cold at this time. After the snowstorm, it becomes cold and a little quiet. You see just a few cars are driving. You see the parking lots are always very full, because the cars are not going anywhere until probably the next day. And basically what happens is, the next day, with this kind of quantity, it is still going to be a little messy. And that's because the snows at that time would have, like now, is still very fluffy, soft, very very fluffy. And by the time it starts get into like a few hours more, it becomes sticky. And when it becomes sticky, it's even worse, because it becomes icy. And normally ice will be slippery, and so that's what happens. And that's why for these roads, they have to keep maintaining the road until the whole thing clears off. You see them still applying salt all the time, putting salt everywhere to ensure that at least it doesn't get slippery. You cannot afford to have the roads get slippery. That could happen in maybe some apartments complex, in maybe some of the houses, but not on a major road like this. So you see them after some time still coming to apply salt, scrape some more, so that when it dries off or when it cools down, it won't get more messy and more slippery. So everybody's trying to drive carefully. You do not want to run or step on your car at this time. it's the danger is definitely coming to you, because it will be really, really bad. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, that's what happens during the snow. This is exactly about 10 or 15 minutes after the snow. So just to let you see what it is when it snows around the Washington DC area. I know in some places it definitely will be heavier than this. Like those in Canada will say, there are some places also there that will have quite some heavy snows. Those who live in Alaska, for instance, will know that this is just a child's play. Look at the truck that I was talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight, enjoy yourself. I will see you again next time when we meet. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a nice day. I am Double Joy.